Hey, yo, what's up, community? Welcome to another episode of G Strivers. Now, in this short video, just want to make a few comments over here for everybody who's an enthusiast of language acquisition. Even though I'm not a polyglot myself and I'm not a self-professed teacher, I'll rather say that I graduated as an EFL professor back in my days. Now, it's been quite a few years now. I've been indulging in quite a lot of jobs, but that's besides the point. That this video, just want to give you some advice, want to drop some wisdom here and there for everybody who's pursuing languages. And tip number one is don't pay for formal training either on the internet or academy on site in your country. You don't need to do any of that. In fact, enroll in Duolingo. I dare you, I challenge you. Create a Duolingo account, sign up for free. Do one and through your computer. If you don't have one, to go to your laptop, iPad, anything at all. I dare you do this for the first 35 days. If you get through this, I sponsor you your training. I promise I will do it. So tip number one is go to Duolingo, sign up for in a free account, and what you got to do is very, very simple. You got to go through the training, unit one, unit two, until you finish it up, until the very, very last unit you're gonna come across in Duolingo. Now, why do I even ask people to do this? Why do we even endorse this idea in the first place? You would say, well, I'm not that fluent in Duolingo, just repeating a bunch of gibberish here and there, not focusing entirely on conversational. It's not vocabulary, tons of other like basic stats, fundamentals already overcome all this. There's something for actually just spend a few hours and meaningless scrolling through all of those exercises. But here's one deal. Here's the deal breaker. How would you dare say such a thing if you're even not willing to commit to something in the first place? This is only a test of your endurance and your patience. Most people, they just want to get a shortcut to the destination, but it's not about the destination. It's about the journey to get to the final go. And most people, they fail to realize that learning foreign languages is just not simply a matter of rushing the process. It's a matter of simulating it to the point where you're able to say for yourself that you're able to use it in real time, remember most of it. And like I said, if you're able to go through this for 35 days in a row, nonstop, you get through tons of exercises, and then definitely going to have to develop discipline to indulge into foreign languages by not simply just buying a course and want to leave it on site for some other time later and just completely forget about it and dismiss it altogether. So tip number one, develop that discipline to fast track your way towards the progress and keep your arms about it, man. Otherwise, you're gonna be just staying around here as a bystander, listening to people on the internet, speaking the language that like I am now. And then even though I may not be a native, still I can say with high confidence that I have accomplished all this with dear sheer determination over the past few years since 2008, if I'm wrong. Second thing for everybody watching this video here, it's very, very simple, guys out there. Download resources from the internet. Stop spending money, time, energy to commute to a community on site, anywhere, exchange programs. You don't need to do any of that, really. There's a resource out there, much reach websites out there for free for you, literally, for you to download the content and use it in real time. I don't see why people are so used to conditioned to spending money and formal tutoring when in reality they're not getting the same amount of results they would otherwise foresee, and get to, experience for themselves if they were committed enough to become self-study. The only fast track to acquisition that is convenient for you to get it in the early stages is by considering indulging in self-study. Why do I say this? You all know your own capabilities, your own time to submit all of this, goals for you and a timeline for your acquisition and whatnot. But the problem is that most people, when they set out these goals, they call it quits because they have not developed the discipline, like I said early on. Not everything comes easier to you. There are now shortcuts to any place worth going. Now, tip number three is that constant repetition is key, and without it, you're not going to be able to develop muscle memory. Keep a language journal with you of the amount of words you're learning every single day. Video diary like I am. If man, what gives? Create a YouTube channel on TikTok and make videos every single day. Just speaking around a topic and start talking, man. There's not really any. It's not rocket science. It's nothing like literally anyone can do this. It's nothing like you don't need to have a degree of this, like 70 years of formal training. Literally, just act like babies. Babies just start observing, watching, listening, and producing sounds without minding too much about what anybody's going to tell them straightforward. Don't be that delicate. Don't be soft. Just be somebody who's just reads, take care, think outside of the box, man. There's so many resources out there. And people are so unaware of these. Like Episode M is one of them. Check it out, guys. Definitely going to have to go through it. At some point, maybe you're gonna run into it through the internet. But like I said, there's so much potential out there in the internet you haven't even realized for yourself. I wouldn't advise paying for formal training unless otherwise you need to be dragged around along the way to be taught. Remember, to remind like every single day what you got to do, man. Maybe you're adult or whatnot. There's so many polyglots out there who have developed this ability, not because of the environment, not because really they have just born with this gene that boosts their language acquisition. It's not a matter of age either way. It's a matter of habits, exposure, and dealing with the forgetting curve, which is my next and final point here. The forgetting curve is really pretty much like everybody's enemies, and your brain has been grown and evolved to discard information to protect ourselves, to make room for fresh data for us to be able to survive, remember what's relevant to us to get through our days and day-to-day life. So without you being able to expose yourself constantly, you're not even going to be able to recall information from your long-term memory. And while being unable to retrieve this data, you're never going to be able to speak. Just like Socrates says, there's no learning without remembering. Same with speaking, you're pulling out all these words and putting it all together. But there's some more to it, obviously, as some other polyglots and linguists say. But look at yourself, little guys over there. We're living in the year 2024. Artificial intelligence is everywhere, and we can literally just fake learning. Yeah, believe it or not, you can use Chat GPT for chatting and having your grammar corrected, and speaking to it, and just literally use a voice recognition just to speak to the AI, man. There's so much out there and resources for dictation exercise, and like I said, TOEFL, ASCT, all of those standardized tests will going to come to the ground. They're going to succumb to the point that and not everybody's going to be in there taking it anymore. Technology is on the rise. Like literally, this is such a revolution at this point in time. Like, literally, everybody's going to be able to learn for a language at any given point. And for Pete's sake, there's going to be a time that people will forsake the idea of learning language because there already be tools in place which automatically translate, interpret everything in other foreign languages in real time for you. So there's going to be probably a matter of a hobby coming up in a few years, probably 10, 7 years from now. It's going to be proliferated over the internet, and everyone will stop learning altogether. Those uses are going to be plumbing, man, in real time. But if you're someone like me, an enthusiast who wish to learn foreign languages, like I said, you need time, discipline, decision making, download resources on the internet, and just set out goals for you every single time. It's that simple, really. But like we said, how are going to be ended up getting corrected? Do you have a lot to say on that too? But you're gonna leave it out for some other videos. One last piece of advice I really want to tell everybody watching this: don't ever underestimate yourself. You can learn anything. Elliot out. Take care.